diys-by-dar, and let's maximize it today. I'm going to use clay molds, decoupage, stencils, and painting. So let's take this $5 Goodwill mini desk, and I'm going to sand it real quick just to smooth it down a bit. Clean it up and take it in and take some Dixie Belle paint and some yellow and give this one nice coat. My paint's a little thick, so it's perfect because I still want a little bit of the color to show underneath. Here is the Das clay, my favorite. I have 2 molds here with leaves on them. When you get your clay, make sure you always condition it. If it feels dry and it's cracking, spray it with your mister in your hand and keep kneading it. Now get that clay in there and push it into all the little grooves. And when it's flat, you're going to take a knife, start in the middle, and run it away from yourself, and you should get a good cut. If you start on the very end and try to cut it, you're just going to lift your whole mold right out of its holder. So start in the center and work your way out. I am going to put these in the freezer. They were in there for about 20 minutes. And you can see that the stem is a little bit loose. And I got to be careful I don't break it off. But the rest of it is firm, but still soft on the ends. So I'm going to lay this down. And I'm not going to bend it right at the corner. I'm going to wait a little bit, like 5 more minutes before I bend that so I don't crack it. Clean your glue up from around the outside edge. And now I had a little crack here, and I just used some water and made some slurry out of that clay by wiping it, and just work any cracks out with a paintbrush. Now here are some other molds. These were in the freezer for an hour and a half. And I have them laying sideways there because if you turn them upside down, make sure you do it over a cloth because they're just going to drop out. These are pretty firm, pretty hard. The great thing about taking out things that have small appendages, when they're frozen, it's just so much easier. But just don't bend your mold too much that you break them. So I have them all here, and they're clunking as I'm setting them down because they're still pretty firm. And I'm going to go ahead and clean around the outside edge with a scalpel, which is really easy when they're frozen. You can even use your fingernail. And I'm going to line them up and see where I want to put them. And then we will go from there. They're all stuck on. I'm ready for my decoupage paper. Mod Podge in matte. I am going to cover this whole piece all the way to the edges. I'm going to carefully get that in place. And then I did something here. I needed to leave the back corner up, like right there. And I forgot. And I got going and I smoothed it all down. And they all came out great. All the paper came out great. I needed to stick a leaf underneath there. And I needed that end up. Well, I stuck it down. There I go. I'm sticking it down. So the leaf that I wanted to fit there would no longer fit. And I had to use a different one. See, I have to peel that back up now. Just enough to get it underneath there. And this one is no longer going to work there where I wanted it. So I had to use this shorter leaf. So I am putting the Mod Podge on everything to put it back down in place. And you can see it kind of has a rounded top. I am going to have to find another piece of decoupage paper similar and put over the top of that. And then just do a matching paint job on it. And I will do a full recording on that so you can see it. Here is my other apple. This apple is on the seat, and you can see that I am going to have to do some repair painting up to the acorn, up to the leaf that's down there, and also on the face of the paper itself. I didn't cover the paper. I usually do when I'm working on something, just take another piece of paper and set it over the top. Because when you're running your hands and your arm or whatever over the top of your paper, frequently you can wear it off or cause little tears or rips on it. So try to protect it if you can. Now I have the leaf in place here, and this is where we ended up. I need to match this. So I have chalk paint. These are all chalk paints that I based this little desk out with. And I have some Dixie Belle paint. I have some Sloan paint in black and in brown. And the brush I have has seen better days. I have a couple of them. And they're all fluffy and wore out. But these are the brushes that you want for stippling or pouncing or tapping, because they give you this really nice, obscure pattern with your paint for mixing different colors in together. So I'm going to continue on tapping this all the way down, and I've been wiping some of the black off the edge because I still want a little bit of that yellow to show through around the edges. And now I'm going back in with my yellow, and I always take my brush and wipe it on a towel. I don't put it in a glass of water to rinse them out, because it just puts too much water in your paint for that blending portion. I was not liking the roughness, so I just took a very smooth, soft brush and just went different directions and tried to lightly mix it together. I'm not quite where I want to be with this, but we'll keep working at it. And I was happy with that finally, and I just did a little more yellow on there, and we're good to go here. I have that top blended, and I have both of my sides blended, and I probably will still do some more blending with the brown on the seat and different areas, and I'm not sure, I may even use some brown wax. There is the little piece of leaf I found. I am painting in my molds at this point. I need to get a base layer down on the leaves, and I'm almost there. I got a couple more brown ones to do, and I'll be ready for the next phase. Well, here we go. This is as far as I got this week. So this is going to have a part 2. And this is going to be just a little bit more work than I thought, with some of the detailed painting that I am going to do on this piece. Here's the paper and the molds on the front. That's pretty much the only place that I put them. And on the top, we have the decoupage paper, and on the sides, we have the decoupage paper on both sides. So where I am going to go from here is I have all of my base is on now, and I need to go back, and I am going to go and detail first my leaves out. This time around I used acrylic paints to go ahead and put my base layer on all of my leaves and acorns. I prefer that because it helps seal the porosity of that DOS clay. So it's really a nice base layer to put down there. If you are going to be adding different colors on the top for blending purposes, for your highlights in your lowlights, to really give them that 3D pop and make them look realistic. And I tried one not too long ago. I will put the link in the description, where I just used chalk paint in finishing all of the little critters and things on it. It was a vintage mirror that I upcycled into a pond, and I had frogs and fish and everything in there. I'll put the link in the description. I used strictly chalk paint with that, and where the problem in that lies for me personally is when you go to blend that chalk paint, the water from your paint you're putting on there is going to mix with the paint below it no matter what, even though it's dry. That is the beauty of chalk paint when you have a bigger piece, like I did with the bigger blending sections on the little desk here. So I guess that is your personal preference on where you want to go with your piece. I have started a new project with my 3 flippin' buddies, Levon, Crystal, and Kat, and we make up the Flippin' Bunch. We have a live every Wednesday night at 7, and it's all 4 of us, and we take guests on the program, and we just started this within the last couple months. So it's been taking up a little bit of my time trying to get those kind of things organized in a YouTuber's life. So I can't promise that. I'm gonna work as hard as I can and get this done for next Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Here we are, the Flippin' Bunch. Come join us on Wednesdays. My paper has been provided to me by Made by Marley Decoupage Paper.